Hello everyone, today we are going to go over some of the biggest differences from House of the Dragon Season 1 to the book, Fire and Blood. But before that, remember to like the video, it helps out the channel a lot, and subscribe, and yada yada yada, let's get to it. Now, just for starters, the book reads like a history book, and there are different accounts on the same events. These accounts come from SEPTON EUSTACE and Mushroom, who was the court jester. So parts of the book are just rumors that are based on some truth, and others are just complete nonsense, so I will point that out as we go through it. The first major change is Rhaenyra's age. In the show, she is maybe a few years younger than Alicent Hightower. They wanted to show how the two were childhood friends. In the book, Alicent was about 9 years older. It is never mentioned if the two were friends or not, though when Alicent married Viserys, the two did get along quite well, until Alicent started having children. The next change is the Great Council of 101 AC, where the question of who would succeed the old king JAEHAERYS would be decided. In the show, they say Rhaenys Targaryen and Viserys were the two frontrunners for who would be the next monarch. In the book, it was Laenor, Rhaenys and Corlys' son, who was considered after Viserys to have the next best claim, but was passed over because he was only 7 years of age, and because he got his Targaryen heritage through his mother, and the lords decided that the male line should take precedence. Also, King JAEHAERYS never attended the Great Council in the book like he does in the show. The next change is the tourney that was held in episode 1 for King Viserys' unborn child, Balon. This tourney never happened in the book, though some of the events that occurred did, like Sir Criston Cole defeating Daemon Targaryen in the melee and in the joust. In the book, the tourney was being held because of Viserys' ascension to the throne after JAEHAERYS died. It was also being held at Maidenpool instead of King's Landing. Maidenpool is located in the Riverlands. Another change is about Aegon's dagger Catspaw. It is never mentioned in Fire and Blood that the dagger was Aegon's or that it had the Song of Ice and Fire prophecy on it. Also, Aegon's dream, the Song of Ice and Fire, was just in the show as well. It is never mentioned in the book. The next change that occurs is Mysaria being pregnant. In the show, it is revealed that she was never pregnant. Daemon just made that up to antagonize his brother. And after the whole fiasco with the dragon egg, she returned to King's Landing to continue to work as a Lady of the Night. In the book, she was pregnant. Viserys commanded Daemon to return the dragon egg and go to his lady wife, ROYCE. Daemon did as he was told, and he sent Mysaria to Lys, where she is originally from. But the ship she was on would hit a storm, which would result in Mysaria losing the child. Daemon blamed Viserys for this. Another change from the book is Alicent Hightower's virtue. Now, these are rumors that Mushroom, the court jester, said were true in the book, but in the TV show they are never mentioned or even hinted at. In the book, it was said that Alicent was sleeping with Viserys before Aemma Arryn, Viserys' first wife, was dead. It was also said that Daemon Targaryen slept with Alicent as well, taking her maidenhead. And that is why Otto Hightower, her father, hated him so much. In the show, as I said before, it's not even hinted at. If anything, it's the opposite, because this is one of the main issues Alicent had with Rhaenyra, when she learned that she slept with Criston Cole. The next big change is how the Greens and the Blacks term got coined. In the show, Alicent arrives to the rehearsal dinner of Rhaenyra and Laenor's marriage late, interrupting Viserys' speech. Everyone stops and watches as she comes in. She's wearing a green dress. Alicent was mad because of the dismissal of her father, Otto Hightower, as Hand of the King, and wanted to send a message that she sticks by her family. After this, Alicent continued to wear green, and all her children did as well. Rhaenyra, being from House Targaryen, tended to wear the colors of her house, red and black, so people just started calling the two factions the Greens and the Blacks. In the book, it is coined at a tourney that was celebrating the 5th anniversary of Viserys and Alicent's marriage. Alicent wore a green gown, and Rhaenyra wore a red and black one. People took note of this and started referring to the two groups as such. Another change from the book is Rhaenyra and Alicent's relationship. In the book, the two never seemed to really like one another at all, except for right away. In the show, even after Alicent's kids, the two did get along. We saw this in episode 4. The next change is about Sir Criston Cole. Now, this is one of those rumors that gets mentioned, no one knows the truth of it. Sir Criston Cole never slept with Rhaenyra. When Rhaenyra tried seducing him, he was horrified and rejected the offer. In the show, he does sleep with the princess. Also in the show, he confesses his love to Rhaenyra and asks her to sail away with him, which is said to have happened in the books as well. The next change is about Rhea Royce. In the show, we find out that Daemon is the one who killed her, causing her to fall off her horse. In the book, it is just an accident. She actually survives for 9 days, until she succumbs to her injuries. The next change is about Sir Harold Westerling, the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. In the book, he dies in 112 AC, and Sir Criston Cole takes his place as Lord Commander. In the show, Sir Harold Westerling is still alive. He resigns as Lord Commander after Otto Hightower requests him to sneak onto Dragonstone and kill Rhaenyra and her whole group. Also, he wasn't too thrilled with the small council supplanting Rhaenyra as heir. After he leaves, Sir Criston Cole does become Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. The next change is a smallish one. In episode 4, Otto suggests to Viserys that Rhaenyra should marry her younger half-brother Aegon. In the book, Alicent is the one who suggests this. The next change is how Joffrey Lonmouth would die. In the show, Joffrey died at Laenor and Rhaenyra's wedding rehearsal. He was beaten to death by Sir Criston Cole after he let Criston know that he knew he was Rhaenyra's lover. In the book, there was a tourney held for Laenor and Rhaenyra's wedding. Criston and Joffrey would face off in the melee. He cracked Joffrey's helm with his Morning Star. Joffrey would die 6 days later from his injuries. Another change in the book is how Laena Velaryon died. In the show, she was not able to give birth and chose to kill herself by commanding Vhagar to burn her to death in Pentos. In the book, she is on Driftmark, and she is able to give birth, but the child would not survive. She would then get a fever and would die from that. The next change is about Laenor Velaryon. In the show, Rhaenyra and Daemon set up a plan to fake Laenor's death so he can live how he wants to, no longer having to continue to play the role of husband to Rhaenyra. In the book, Laenor does die. He is killed by Sir Quarrel Corey. It happens at a fair in Spicetown. His body is not burned like it is in the show, so it's clear that it is him. Some people do believe that Daemon was behind this because he wanted to marry Rhaenyra and needed to get rid of Laenor. The next change is about Vaemond Velaryon. Vaemond in the show is the younger brother to Corlys. In the book, he is his eldest nephew, though both versions have Vaemond trying to claim Driftmark after Corlys gets sick. They both bring up the legitimacy of Rhaenyra's sons and how they are bastards. In the show, Vaemond does it in front of the king, which would lead to his death. In the book, he never gets that far. Rhaenyra hears about this and sends Daemon to kill him. He chops off Vaemond's head and feeds the body to Syrax, Rhaenyra's dragon. Other family members of Corlys's try to claim the same thing to King Viserys at court, that her children are bastards. Viserys would then have their tongues removed for speaking such slander. Another big change for the show is about Viserys. In the show, he would die of leprosy, slowly decaying over the 8 episodes. In the book, he is just fat and has gout. So he's still sick, but is not as dramatic as the show's version. Another change was from the dinner scene in episode 8. In the show, Rhaenyra and Alicent say nice things about each other. In the book, it is Daemon and Otto who do this, and Rhaenyra and Alicent are forced by Viserys to wear each other's colors, so Alicent wore black and Rhaenyra wore green, which made Viserys very happy. Another change is about Helaena Targaryen. In the show, she seems to have the gift of prophecy, but in the book, it is never mentioned if she has this or not, so I guess it's up in the air. Another change is about Viserys mentioning Aegon's prophecy to Alicent. In the show, Alicent, when hearing this, thinks Viserys wants Aegon to succeed him. In the book, this conversation never happens, and once Viserys dies, the plans to supplant Rhaenyra go into motion. The last change that I will mention is Aemond killing Lucerys. In the book, Aemond kills Lucerys. It seems very deliberate, and it seems like he meant to do it. In the show, it was a bit of an accident. Aemond was bullying his nephew, basically just trying to scare him, but the dragons, Arrax and Vhagar, did not see that. Arrax, disobeying Lucerys, attacked Vhagar, spitting fire at the she-dragon. Vhagar, in return, bit Arrax in half, killing Lucerys. Aemond tried to stop it, but Vhagar did not listen. You could tell Aemond was a bit shaken by this. Knowing that war was now inevitable, there would be no peace. And those are some of the differences between the show and the book. Did I miss anything? Leave it down in the comments below. And if you want more House of the Dragon content, please subscribe and like the video. Check out the Twitter link in the description below. And as always, Have an awesome day.